Hello, everyone. Hello, Facebook. Welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in. This is Soundbooth Sessions. My name is Dan. This is our live stream series where we feature a concert and a conversation with an artist we love. Tonight, I'm so excited to have Lucas Mitsch with us. He is a bagpiper and Celtic instrument expert. So we are going to see and hear some very special and unique and beautiful instruments, some of which you may have never heard before, some of which you may have never heard of before. So I cannot wait to get in the weeds, get nerdy about the hurdy-gurdy, and just really have a lot of fun getting geeky with you tonight. Jeremy is sitting right next to me. He is our video switcher. So Jeremy will be taking care of the pan, will be taking care of the what? The fades and the cuts. Jeremy on the cuts and the fades tonight. Tim is in front of the stage. He is on the pans and the tilts and the zooms. He's our camera operator tonight. Tonight behind the keyboard, Alyson is in the comments section. Alyson on the links. And what else does she do? She shares the links. She corrects me when I'm wrong. She keeps her eye on the comments section. She raises our children. She's doing a great job. So thank you to Alyson. She advertises all the shows here at Sellersville Theater as well. All right. That's enough of that. Let's get to the music. It is now my absolute pleasure to welcome to Sellersville Theater, Lucas Mitsch. Oh, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, Lucas. That's the way to start a show.
So now we've got the loud ones out of the way, we can try some other stuff.
Beautiful. So, Lucas, well, welcome to the show, first of all.
Thank you, Dan, for having me. I really appreciate it. It's a pleasure, and it's great to see Sellersville Theater supporting artists and all these folks who really need some help with COVID and keeping the music going to keeping our spirits high.
Well, thank you for that, Lucas.
Yeah.
So that was an incredible introduction to the show you just gave us. That instrument you were playing, tell us about it. What was that?
Sure. So that is the bagpipe that you've seen at the wedding, at the funeral, going down the street for the parade. That's the Great Highland Bagpipe. So
Okay.
often referred to as an instrument of war. So very loud, very present, as the sound is often described.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what folks are most used to seeing when it comes to bagpipes. And it has a vast repertoire of tunes. So I played some of my favorite tunes up there, some jigs and reels, some slow airs, to mix it up a little bit and give you a sense of the different types of bagpipe music that are out there. There's a massive amount of marches that you hear pipers play all the time, but there's this entire other repertoire that doesn't always get met, as you're seeing the pipe band go down the street. So it's great to hear all of that. And if you want to hear more of that, you can always YouTube pipe band competitions, because every year in Glasgow, Scotland, there's a massive pipe band competition with bands from around the world that play, and it's different types of music. It's a really cool ensemble sound to hear the band isolated, to hear the drum section coming in and out. That's a dynamic that you might not hear, initially unless you really listen for it. And you get to hear harmonies with pipers playing in tune, which is always a magnificent thing.
Wow.
If pipers are not in tune, it's less than magnificent.
Sounds magnificent.
So that's a bit on the Great Highland Bagpipe. It is alive and well.
Well, I'll tell you what. Can you just give us a little sneak to the peek at the mechanics of it? So your fingers are obviously
Yeah. So the chanter, right? You've got the drones going up on your shoulder, and those are producing that chord behind the chanter. So you're tuning all those together, and you are tuning them to the chanter so it sounds harmonious as you play all your tunes. So when you're in a pipe band setting, it's a lot more variables, because there's a lot of people playing. You've got a lot of folks with different pressures that they play, that sort of thing. So it's a little more complicated when it comes to tuning an entire pipe band, but it's pretty easy when it's just yourself.
Now, pressure coming from the bag and the bagpipe is actually what's under your arm.
Exactly.
And now the blowing isn't making the pitch, right?
So you have a reed in each one of the drones. So you've got 3 reeds going in there, and then your chanter reed playing at the same time. So those are set up, based on the player. Some people play at a higher pressure or lower pressure. So that's part of the variables in tuning like an entire pipe band. So that's something that when you start out, you'll play with a very easy reed, and as you get more accustomed to playing that, you can play a reed of harder difficulty, which is good because they last longer, and reeds are like $20 a pop. So,
wow,
yeah,
that's very cool. And so is the air pressure, is that coming from the squeezing on your arm?
Yeah, it's actually a little bit of both. So you're putting air into the instrument, that needs to be consistent, and you're putting pressure on the bag, so that has to remain consistent. So in regards to just the mechanics of it, if you ever see somebody doing one more so than the other, they're probably struggling with their instrument. They're really, yanking on the bag, trying to keep the pressure going. There's probably something that they need to address there. So that's the bagpipe teacher in me talking. I want to help people out when it comes to that, because you shouldn't struggle with your bagpipe. You need to be playing the instrument. The instrument does not need to be playing you.
I tell people that all the time.
As we say.
Shouldn't be struggling with your bagpipe.
Exactly.
Lucas, I got to tell you, the audience is loving it. We have a lot of comments in the comments section. People are really digging it.
Beautiful.
I'm going to share this particularly beautiful passage by Dan May. It says, "I think bagpipes are one of the most human instruments out there. You can feel the connection to a living, breathing organism. It has life and breath, wonderful expression of joy and sadness."
Well said, sir. Thank you for sharing.
Beautifully said.
I would follow that up with there's an old saying. It's like a riddle. The living carries the dead cries out loudly. Surprise! It's a bagpipe. So
Wow.
that's something that has made its way through time for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, this is wonderful. Okay, so you're gonna just keep going and giving us all kinds of different instruments, introduce us to a whole bunch of cool stuff. What what else do you have to show us?
So we're gonna move on to a quieter bagpipe. Yes.
Okay.
So it's
Yes.
played with the bellows, which is the thing that I've just strapped to my front here. Belt safety first, naturally, buckle
Got
up.
it.
So the bellows blown bagpipes are a little bit different because you're not breathing into them. There's a one-way valve on the outside of the bellows, so this goes out, and then air goes out that way into the pipes. So I'll grab those and show you.
Wow. Oh, another
Alrighty.
beautiful instrument.
Yeah, thank you. And as far as the tuning goes, it's a little bit different because the drones you'll see are right here pointing this way instead of going upwards.
Gotcha.
So you've got this guy that goes in here, right into the bellows, and you're pumping up your bag to give that bunch of air so you can play your tunes. And these are really cool because you can sing or yell at people at the same time, so you don't have to put air into the instrument, which is great. It's funny when people see you playing, because if you're here playing and somebody tries to get your attention, they try to have a conversation with you, and you're trying to play the bagpipes and try to have a conversation, and it's just a two-brain thing. It does not work well. So that's happened a couple times.
I'll try to behave tonight.
No. All right, so you can hear the drones are in tune with the chanter, and we're in concert pitch, so that makes playing with other instrumentalists a lot easier and a lot more fun. Yeah, so when you've got people playing guitars or fiddles or harps, whatever you want, it's a lot easier to play these than the massively loud Highland pipes. So
Okay, so now the tone of that instrument is very different. And what contributes to the tone?
yeah, so
changing?
everything, mainly when you're talking about just the sound, this is constructed to be a much quieter instrument. It operates on a lower pressure, and the chanter, if we did an X-ray of the chanter, it would be parallel bored, which means it goes straight down. Whereas on the Highland pipe chanter, it's conical bored. So like I described it to you, the Highland pipe is just a note launcher. You're just, boom, just volleys of notes, right? This is a lot more quiet, and it's a lot easier as far as the compatibility goes with other musicians.
So there's like a silenced Walter PPK.
Yes, you got
James
it.
Bond
You got it.
sort of-
Yep, well said.
Love it.
Cool. So I'll play you some tunes on the small pipes. Small pipes you'll hear in Scottish Irish folk bands. You'll hear them in session playing, and they're really a warm instrument. And I appreciate your help in setting up the sound because the tone was really nice in here. So I think we'll enjoy that. I'll play you a set of those tunes, and we can get cranking on that.
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
So is that that's a handmade instrument?
It is, yep. So these were made in New England by a pipe maker named Chris Pinchbeck, who was very, very intelligent in his design of pipe making, because you'll see the drones here. They can actually be adjusted to tune to 3 different notes. So you can tune and make some pretty cool chords, different drone configurations than you could on other types of bagpipes for a little more musicality, something more harmonically interesting. Yeah. So that makes it really nice and very quick to tune as well.
Do the fingerings transfer between the different pipes? Or?
They do, yes.
Okay.
There's some folks that will say, and there's a degree of truth to it, that there's really a discipline and a repertoire for Scottish small pipe specifically. And you can certainly play some of the Highland bagpipe tunes so that you can play them back and forth. There are tunes that are generally kind of lean more towards the small pipes, depending on the repertoire, depending on the context that you're playing in, and definitely tunes that are geared more towards the Highland pipe. So a little bit of both.
Loving this, man.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you got it.
Again, the comment section is a very happy place. People are digging it. How are you feeling in the house? You folks liking this? Oh yeah.
All right. I could feel the heat backstage. I could feel the energy. So
That's right.
that's why we came out guns blazing. That's why we did that.
When you're playing the 2 different instruments, I noticed with this one you had a lot more going on with your arms.
Yeah. So this one, the pressure's a little bit different, and it's mainly because of the bellows. So you're pumping the air through, staying steady with that, and so it's something that you really do have to get a good handle on, and that's one of the things about learning the bagpipes that's really frustrating when you're starting out versus another instrument. So you could go to the music store and grab a keyboard and learn your scales and do that. With pipes, it is physical. So you typically get like a practice chanter, which is just this fingering portion here. You're learning your scales, you're learning your tunes, and after that, then you're picking up the bagpipes. So it's like a 2-stage thing. So it's a rite of passage. You've got to master a lot of stuff on the practice chanter first before you want to start working on the bagpipes. Because if you're trying to do the bagpipes and all the technique, that's one of those 2-brain kind of frustrating situations there. So best to start off with the practice chanter and then move on to the pipes later on.
It seems to me like it would be kind of like learning the drums, because you have to have a certain amount of limb independence, right, to be able to do squeezing arrhythmically.
Yep.
But then have your fingers.
And especially with drumming, there's a lot geared towards muscle memory too. So they're definitely one and the same there.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Will you do more on the small pipes here?
I'm probably gonna drop these for a second. We'll come back to them before the second half here. I want to show you a different type of bagpipe, right?
Oh,
so
please do.
Yeah, I hope y'all are ready.
Tell us about this. The new bagpipe.
So when you think of bagpipes, you normally think of Scotland and Ireland and the UK and kilts and Amazing Grace and Outlander and all these different things. So the great news, but wait, there's more, is that there are bagpipes from around the world, and really every European country has its own type of bagpipe. How cool is that? Fascinating, right?
That is very cool.
Thank you, Dan.
I love that.
So you've got all these different types of bagpipes in different configurations, which is really cool when you think about it. I'm going to take a minute and just dive into that too, because you have this common kind of musical thought of, I want to have this chord, this drone sound coming behind as I play this melody. I want it to be continuous, historically used for dancing, used for all these different things where you need to keep playing. So just seeing how it's really developed in different cultures is really fascinating to me. I mean, that's something that when you get into it and see how they're made, how they're represented in different traditional music context, it's really cool to see how it's different and how it's the same. It's one of those things that's really fascinating when you dive into it. So when it comes to pipes from different countries, you have bagpipes that have single chanters, like the Spanish gaita. You have bagpipes that have double chanters. What? Two chanters? Double trouble, right? So I have a set of Italian bagpipes, and they have 2 chanters. So it's very different than this. And I'm going to grab them and hop up there and show you guys how they work. They're really cool. I just want you to keep in mind, I'm about to musically bare my soul to you with an instrument that looks like a sheep. So when I pull them out of the case, you can laugh, get it out of your system, and then we'll get back on track.
That's right, then pull it together. This is serious business. Friends in the comment section, as Lucas is transitioning, I will thank you for being here, of course, and remind you that there are ways that you can contribute to support the arts. I can't even fathom how expensive all of these instruments must have been. Please support this artist and this wonderful music. We are sharing links on the screen for how you can support Lucas and Soundbooth Sessions. And of course, we appreciate you being here and we appreciate your contributions. Keep the comments coming. I'm seeing lots of shamrocks in the crowd, a lot of claps, a lot of hearts. Dan May continues to be poetic. He says, it's like a conversation going on between 2 Loch Ness monsters. It's wonderful. I think he's referring to watching the bagpipes as you play them.
Jump on that and say 2 very masculine Loch Ness monsters. We can
That's right.
throw that in there.
And here's Lucas with his sheep. that one. So Lucas, those are the Italian pipes?
They are. They are the Italian pipes called the Zampogna. The Zampogna, yeah. And so if you hop onto YouTube, there's a really, really cool documentary called The Soul of Southern Italy by David Marker, and it's all about the Italian pipers and the really neat history behind the revitalization of the Italian bagpipe, as well as how it's used really commonly during Christmas time. So you'll hear Zampogna players and other players playing the chimarrella, which is a really high-pitched reed instrument, playing all together, lots of different Christmas tunes, and that's a really cool ensemble to hear. Very different, of course, than your traditional Highland pipe band, because there's different things harmonically going on. So that's fascinating to listen to.
Well, so with the two chanters, obviously, you can be more harmonically complex.
You got it. You can steal the folks' heart all that faster as you're playing. Yeah.
Well, I wonder, do you also compose your own pieces for?
I do, yeah, and it would be good to mention what I played there. I did not compose "Ode to Joy" in that last bit there,
Right.
But a bit of the minor things that I was doing in that set were composed, and a lot of that is really fun because I can improvise a little bit, kind of take passages and build off of them, and it's fun to be able to do that because you have a little more stability in that sense than just one chanter all the time. So. As far as composition goes, I compose for as much as I can. So Highland pipes, small pipes, everything really, and it's really a privilege to be able to use some of my compositions with my bandmates who we'll meet later on.
Right.
Fig for a Kiss, we're an Irish band outside of, really out around Bethlehem area. I'm down here in Collegeville, but it's a lot of fun to be able to give original music that ensemble sense, and also to hear theirs and put it all together, and it's really one big happy musical family.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm wondering about the sort of the harmonic limitation though of writing with that drone going in the background. Like, do you?
Yeah.
How do you work with that?
So
and still maintain interest and all that?
So what happens is you kind of start out with your melody, you play it through. And after you've worked really hard on it, you realize that someone else has written it already, and you have to go back and start again. So what happens is you really have to be cognizant of that, because there's a lot of traditional music that's out there. You don't want to rip anybody else off, but as far as traditional music goes, limiting yourself within that confine of especially something like a bagpipe, you really have to work hard, and I think rhythmically things will get a little more intense just to break things up a little bit. Sure. Because you might have similar melodies, but if you can do something really cool rhythmically, that will set yourself apart from some of the other stuff that's out there.
Have you found any ways to like cheat a chord change in like fight against the drone?
Yeah, kind of. So you can in messing around with some of those different tunings, you can provide some really cool dissonance, and that gives you something to play with a little bit. So especially if you're playing solo, and it doesn't matter, if you have dissonance in a pipe band, you're going to get in trouble real fast.
Gotcha. Well, okay, so you mentioned that one's from Italy. Is it reasonable to assume that the material that was made of is specific to Italy?
Yep.
What kind of wood?
Yeah, that's made from olive wood, actually. So you'll see bagpipes, as far as the Scottish small pipes go, they're made out of all different types of exotic woods, which is really cool to see. So there's a couple makers that are here in the States, and they're using all kinds of different exotic woods, horn material for the mounts on the drones, that sort of thing, which is really neat. The Highland bagpipes that I have are made of African blackwood, and African blackwood and ebony wood are really good for Highland pipes because the wood is so dense. And if I recall correctly, it takes in the realm of like 50 to 70 years for an African blackwood tree to reach that maturity to where the point you can use it to then make the instrument. So that's something that there was probably a little while ago, maybe 5-6 years ago, I think there was more of a consciousness of like, oh my goodness, we're going to run out of this material, but there's definitely conservation efforts in play to make sure that we're not going to run out of bagpipes anytime soon.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
And are people, I imagine, modernizing the production using like carbon fiber or resins or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
to make some of this stuff?
Absolutely, yeah. And you'll see instruments, you'll see whistles too that are made out of carbon fiber.
Okay.
When you're looking at different types of bagpipes too, you're going to see that there's a lot more machining that's involved because all the technology, most of it has caught up across the board. So back in the day, and over the past 40, 50 years, if you're buying a set of bagpipes, some people had different processes. So someone was doing a lot by hand, somebody was doing a lot with machinery. You could come out with different instruments, different variables. Now, more folks are using more machinery, so everything is standardized.
I see.
Industrial bagpipe revolution. There you go.
Right. Exactly. Is there a booming bagpipe industry? Pardon my ignorance. Is there a
No
booming
worries.
bagpipe industry?
Yeah,
out
so
there?
there's definitely big makers in Scotland. There's some here in the States as well. And what you're looking at is folks who are interested in piping, whether just solo or whether in a band context. So there's definitely instruments to be had. I don't think there's a shortage. I think with some artisanal makers, you definitely have to wait. That's another difference with any of these traditional or folk instruments, is that you're going to be on a waiting list for a little while before you get it. You can't just Amazon Prime your bagpipes. You have to wait. So
Right.
that's what you'll run into as far as the time frame goes with getting started.
Maybe like a starter chanter, right? You could probably Amazon.
Yep. Grab
cheapy,
your chanter and get to work, and then sock the money away for the bagpipe purchase.
Now, what about that sheep you just played? Was that a handmade
That was a
one
handmade
for
instrument.
you?
Yeah, that was a handmade
Are
instrument.
they custom made or?
So yeah, so that one's kind of like a standard as far as the construction goes. But with a lot of these bagpipes, especially small pipes, things will be custom made based on if somebody's getting down to the specifics of I really like the tone of this wood, or I really want this as far as like a drone switch or something custom like that. There's definitely
What's a drone switch?
A drone switch would be like a switch you turn a drone off and on with. So some small pipes will have them in the common stock, where that piece that's right here, you could turn it on, turn it off, that sort of thing. So yeah, as far as the technology goes, that's definitely in a place where people can do a lot more of that than they used to.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
This is interesting stuff, man.
Yeah, you got it. I'm gonna shift gears entirely now.
Do it. Where are we going?
Totally. Okay.
Where are we going?
We're staying in Europe, but we're going to change the game here a little bit.
Okay.
Bagpipes are great.
Sure.
They're fantastic.
Of course.
What if we had a bagpipe made of strings, stringed instruments? How cool would that sound?
I don't even know what that means.
It'd be pretty cool, right? Right. So the instrument I'm talking about is the hurdy-gurdy. And the hurdy-gurdy is an ancient stringed instrument that's gone through many different developments. I'm going to grab mine over here. Again, putting on the strap first, safety first, buckle up.
All right. Hurdy-gurdy. Wow, look at that thing.
Here she is.
So where is this coming in historically? Like what year is this making an appearance?
So historically, it depends who you ask. There's definitely probably about the 1300s evidence, possibly before, of the hurdy-gurdy. And before it was the hurdy-gurdy, it was the organistrum, which was this giant two-person instrument, teamwork, right? So one person would be cranking it, the other person would be pulling on the keys to make the different notes. Over time, it got compressed and switched around. So instead of pulling up on the keys, you're pushing them from the bottom, and gravity's taking them back. So as far as the instrument itself goes, just like bagpipes, it's really cool to see. There's people producing these historical instruments that look like they're right out of the Renaissance. But if you want a tricked out hurdy-gurdy, you can definitely go to France and get one. So there's these massive festivals where they have folks from all over Europe that build these traditional instruments. They get together, they play, they have jam sessions, and people get to try out different instruments. So mine, interestingly enough, is made in America, which is pretty cool. As far as the European market goes for hurdy-gurdies, there's quite a few of them, and you could spend quite a bit on one. But kind of like the bagpipe, you could start with a smaller equivalent just to get comfortable before you go in for the big tank hurdy-gurdy.
When you say spend a good bit, what are we talking? Thousands of dollars?
We're talking thousands, yeah. Yeah, it's up there. It's up
All
there.
right. Can you show us how that thing works?
Sure.
What is that even going to do?
So Everybody have their safety goggles on. Yeah, okay.
Gosh.
So, the hurdy-gurdy, you'll see, has a crank. Crank is turning the wheel that's right here. So the wheel is going to bow multiple strings at the same time. So think of it like a violin bow turned into a circle. So I'm going to spin the wheel. I'm going to throw on one of the chanter strings, which is the melody sound. So we've got one going, and that one is connected to the key box. So when I start playing the keys, you'll start to hear that note change. How cool does that sound?
Wow.
Really cool, right? But what makes music better? Drones, right? So we're going to throw some drones on. So we'll throw on a low drone. So we've got that going at the same time. And the cool thing with the hurdy-gurdy is that it doesn't stop there. You have a complete musical package all in one. We've got melody. We've got harmony. Let's throw in some rhythm. So the top string that's here allows me to spin the crank a little bit faster, and we'll get a buzzing sound, so we get some rhythm. So you've got all of that going on. I will play some tunes for you, some traditional tunes, some old tunes, and throw in some fun original stuff in there too. The hurdy-gurdy is a lot of fun. It is a joy to play. It takes a while to get up to speed, just like a lot of these traditional instruments. And with a lot of these traditional instruments, sometimes it's like driving a car you're not sure of. Like, oh, is everything going to hang in tight? You know, a lot of the stuff is handmade, so you're kind of fingers crossed. So we'll see what happens. All right. guys dig the hurdy-gurdy?
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
That is... What was that piece of music you just played? That was incredible.
It's a lot of different little tunes there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I played some like little original tunes in there, and then a couple kind of traditional medieval pieces in there too, for everybody following it at home from the 1400s. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Do the comment sections like the hurdy-gurdy? Gotta hear.
They sure did. Bob McGinty says, wow, that is seriously badass.
Oh, nice, nice.
Dan May says, this is like an education. I feel smarter having seen and heard this
Whoa,
presentation.
nice.
So does Tina Perry Pastor.
Nice.
Don
Cool.
McNeil says, you, sir, are amazing.
Oh.
Dan May's being poetic again. The best part of tonight is that now I know what a soul sounds like. It sounds like this.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is...
Man.
Digging the hurdy-gurdy.
That was deep. I might need a minute to recover from that. Let me rewind real quick. Don McNeil and I were here, Dan, because we opened for this amazing Scottish band, the Tannehill Weavers.
Yes.
And that was quite an amazing show. So stay looking at the Sellersville schedule. You've got Tannehill Weavers, Old Blind Dogs, High Kings. Throw some other Celtic bands out there that are amazing.
Some killer Celtic bands.
Yeah.
Altan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful lineup and a great exposure to instruments like the hurdy-gurdy.
Yeah, right on.
A lot of uilleann pipes and
Oh yeah.
what have yous.
Yeah. Let me rewind real quick too. Want to shout back out to that was Dan May. You said
Dan May, yes.
Dan May. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. That's very kind of you. I really appreciate that very much. And back to Bob McGinty, who's just an amazing guy, possibly the most interesting man in the world.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So throwing that back to him.
Quite a claim.
Yeah.
So while you got the hurdy-gurdy in your hands, can you open up that cabinet
You got
door
it.
on
Yep.
the front on the top?
Let me just
there?
put in the password
What's
here.
What's going on
right?
over there?
And there we go.
What?
So what? Yeah, that is the technical term. So on this key box here, you've got a lot going on. You have the keys, you've got the strings running through, you've got the tangents, and the tangents are hitting the string in different positions as you go.
Okay.
So the tangents are hitting obviously lower down here, getting the lower notes, higher up here, getting the higher notes. So that's something that as far as the modern ones go, I've got these nice metal fixtures here, which you do have to kind of tighten sometimes when you play when there's a temperature change with the wood and such. The old ones were all wooden, and I have an older hurdy-gurdy that's got wooden tangents, and so those are a little bit more difficult to keep in tune. So glad to know that technology is leading the way in hurdy-gurdy playing as well.
Right, high-tech hurdy-gurdy. Well, wait, while that's open, how does it work? So you push the button.
Right, so...
And what happens?
So I'm going to throw this one on here, right? So we're pressing here, and we're going to press...
I can't quite see what's happening from this angle, but...
Better?
That's a little better. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So when these keys are getting pressed... So they're hitting the strings in different positions.
And then it's fretting the string.
You got it.
In that spot.
You got it. Yeah, exactly like that.
Okay, so now how's it tuned?
So when you're tuning a hurdy-gurdy, they're tuned a lot in GD. So you've got chanters that are tuned in G, chanters that are tuned in D, and then drones that are going to be harmonically tuned to match. So the cool thing about this is that when you get your French bagpipes that are tuned in G, it's a very rich, warm, low sound, and you put them together, it is really magnificent to
With
hear.
the hurdy-gurdy?
With the hurdy-gurdy, yeah.
Made to go together?
Yes, you've got your hurdy-gurdy, you've got your French bagpipe, and an amazing repertoire of traditional music. A lot of the times they're joined by accordion players, and it's a really rich, full ensemble sound. Yeah.
No, it's interesting though because it does kind of have a similar like nasally, reedy, cutting through sound comparable to the bagpipe.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's balanced with the French bagpipe. It's a nice match. Yeah.
Right. So then they go together. And then what other instruments would be playing in one of those ensembles?
So you've got those. You've got the accordion players, the squeeze box players.
Right.
So that's a really nice ensemble there. That's kind of the trifecta that you'll see with a lot of the traditional French music. Yeah.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
This is so interesting. I love this
I'm glad.
so much.
Yeah, the hurdy-gurdy's really cool. And I was going to tell you how I kind of came to play hurdy-gurdy real quick. I was at a festival at a school that I was going to, and there's a man that heard that I played the bagpipes. He had just played the hurdy-gurdy. I missed it entirely. I didn't see him play. One of my teachers came over to me and was like, Lucas, you've got to ask Tom about his hurdy-gurdy. You would love it. So I went over and I was like, hey, I heard you play this thing, this instrument thing, kind of like a bagpipe hurdy-gurdy. He's like, yeah, I'll show it to you. So he showed it to me, and kind of fast forward, he lent me an instrument so I could get started, and then I ended up buying an instrument from him before getting this one. So it was really kind of a fast track and right place, right time, as a lot of this traditional and folk music ends up occurring. Just knowing the right person, seeing the right show, and just really kind of opening yourself up to learning something totally new and enjoying it fully.
Well, let's back up on you a little bit. When did you get into playing any of these Celtic instruments, but I guess specifically the pipes?
So I started in a traditional Highland pipe band. So that was at age 12, Mom.
Wow.
So we had gotten back from a family trip from Scotland, and my mom found this local pipe band that I could start taking some lessons and learning from. And quickly, really, enjoyed it. I was a total nerd. Every time they stopped playing, I was like, "Oh wow, that was really good, guys!
Yeah.
Who's this weird little kid that's here?" So I got cooking with them and put a lot of time into piping and really enjoy it quite a bit. And had the opportunity to go to a bunch of workshops that are put on by the National Piping Centre staff in Scotland, and they are some incredible pipers. Really great musicians and no egos. These guys have won, every giant piping competition. Very friendly, very kind. Even at that high level, inaccessible level, it feels like they just want to pass along the tradition and make sure that it continues. So that kind of spearheaded my interest into traditional music as a whole.
Mm. Mm-hmm. And then as you pick up other pipes, other instruments, does the knowledge from one sort of transfer to the other? I know you said that the fingering is different, but
yeah. So I think it's just kind of getting into the zone of, all right, this is the muscle memory that's required for this. I'm going to give it a try, and it's a lot of. And my parents will attest to this. A lot of playing with the bathroom door closed, or playing in the basement at odd hours of the night, kind of working on things. And you do when you're practicing anything, whether it be a craft or music or theater, and you really love it. Sometimes it helps kind of fade everything else out and allows you just to focus on that and enjoy it. So it has that merit of therapy to it as well, and beyond just regular enjoyment.
Is there a particular pipe that you've learned that's been more challenging than other pipes?
I will tell you this. I have a loaner half set of uilleann pipes. Uilleann pipes are no joke, man. They are.
What's the difference? What does the uilleann mean?
So on the uilleann pipes, it's also bellows blown like the Scottish pipes. But you've got to keep that chanter actually on your leg. You'll put a piece of leather or something over your leg, so you're lifting it up and down. And that the thing that's different about that is the pressure there, because you actually have a much higher range of a much larger range of notes to choose from. So as you're playing that, if you're coming from the Scottish pipe scene, not only are you, if you know the bellows, that translates great. You're doing that. You're learning how to kind of get into that upper register as you have on that chanter. In addition to, if you have a full set of uilleann pipes, they have regulators which are laid out next to the drones, and they're stopped off drones basically, and you'll hit them with your forearm to play additional notes as you're playing the chanter.
Man.
So YouTube some uilleann pipes, folks. It is really, really cool to see these guys play. So, yeah.
Is uilleann, doesn't that mean elbow?
Elbow pipes, yeah.
So that's
exactly.
what the uilleann means, is elbow, because your
it.
bellows are blowing the air.
Yeah, you got it. And that's all over the place in Irish traditional music with whistle players and fiddlers and all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. It's like a whole world.
It is.
It's like I sort of felt heading into this that it was this sort of small niche topic, and then but then, of course, you just take one little glimpse at it, and
You got it.
it's
Yeah.
a whole
Yeah.
world of
Yeah,
amazing things.
and that's a takeaway that I always want from any performance interaction is if you can kind of crack the door a little bit and have somebody look through and say, wow, there's all these different festivals in Europe with traditional music. There's all these different instruments that we've never heard. And what a time we live in history now when you can hop right onto YouTube and see all of those different things and experience it for yourself. I mean, that is truly incredible to me. And it's something that it will never leave me. And it's definitely made a lasting impact in being to enjoy that. And it really transports you. I mean, this is something that hundreds of years ago, you know, if you were across the world, you'd have no idea that any of this stuff existed unless you went there, unless you met the people and understood the culture. But now we have so much access to this to be able to understand it and enjoy it. And that brings us all a little bit together, which is something we definitely all need.
Well said.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned before, actually, just to touch on what you just said,
Mhm.
that all these different countries had these different pipe traditions,
Yeah.
and similar instruments. Now, were those developing in a vacuum, like or were they aware of each other and influencing
So
the
yeah,
design?
it's kind of interesting as to how they developed. So you could say that a lot of folks will mention, okay, well, we think the bagpipes started in Egypt with double reed instruments, and then the Roman Empire took that everywhere and kind of planted the seeds in different countries. So you have that. But it's kind of cool to see. Okay, you know, here's the bagpipes in Scotland in its different forms. Well, over here is Germany, and they've got multiple types of different bagpipes and medieval bagpipes. That was kind of their heyday. So you've got the equivalent to a Scottish small pipe in Germany. You have the equivalent to a Highland pipe in Germany, a loud market A pipe for playing with drums and playing with other reeded instruments. So it's really, really neat to know that, okay, these things were developing, people had the idea, and extremely similarly, without any contact, or maybe minimal contact, all of this was going on at the same time throughout history.
Rad.
Yeah. That's what I think.
It really is. It's so interesting. I'm amazed at how much you know about this. How is it that you have come to be so knowledgeable about all of these, the history of these instruments?
Just studying and researching. So I've got a couple of really tremendous instrument encyclopedias from around the world. So you've got visuals on what this stuff looks like, which means hop onto the internet, do some research. Wow, that sounds really cool. That's really unique. And I think that's something that just myself, I'm always interested in. It's like, well, wow, what if we took this musical tradition and combined it with something else and put them together? What would that sound like? What would this instrument sound like with this instrument that have never met before? That's really fascinating and intriguing to me. So you never stop learning. You just kind of get your eyes open, and you can't unsee certain things and certain connections. And it's just really neat because along the way are a lot of really tremendous people that are carrying the torch. And with a lot of this traditional music, it's a lifestyle because they're an instructor. They've been playing, you know, whatever instrument for 40, 50, 60 years, and they're passing everything along. So when you get into those circles and when you get to meet those people, you just start to absorb. And really, that's what I think is so rewarding, is when you enjoy not only just the practice and enjoying the music itself, but just the people that are carrying it on and what it means to them and how important it is to them. They could be doing whatever else, but they chose to learn this instrument. Maybe not by choice. Maybe the parents said, "You have to learn this Bulgarian bagpipe and spread the tunes." There's a really cool video of Bulgarian bagpipers on YouTube. There's like 333 of them all playing together, and partially the way through the set while they're playing, a dude fires off a flintlock pistol like in the air. It's this big celebration. So
man.
really cool stuff. But yeah, so it's knowing how important this is and feeling that importance and connecting with it on your own level. That's something that prompts the learning to continue and the exploration to continue for me.
Oh, man. It's funny, before you brought up Bulgarian bagpipes, Casey Buchanan Smith in the comments section
Yes.
dropped Bulgarian bagpipes are wild too.
Yes,
She's
they
adding
are.
that to the conversation.
Yes, yeah. Casey is a fellow piper. I'm sure she's seen that. It's a really cool video, and I hope you're doing well, Casey.
Unbelievable. All right, well, would you mind doing a bit more music for
Yeah,
us?
so we'll play a couple tunes on the Scottish small pipes, and then we will transition to bring in some of my best friends out here on stage. Fig for a Kiss, for an Irish band, like I said, from Bethlehem area, and we'll play some traditional stuff. We'll play some original and traditional stuff as well. So I'm going to give you one last set on the Scottish small pipes,
Beautiful.
and then we'll bring the band out.
Thank you, Lucas.
Yeah.
Friends at home, thank you very much for your comments. There's applause, there's smiling faces. It's a happy place, this comment section. Again, if you're just tuning us, this very talented and informed young man on stage is Lucas Mitsch. He's a Celtic instrument expert. You've seen him with the hurdy-gurdy and all that. Amazing instrumental wizardry. And please take a moment to support this show, and please take a moment to support Lucas and the other talented musicians who are going to be joining him shortly. Links are being shared on your screen right now. Thank you for supporting the arts and this artist and this venue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Dan, I do have something to tell you before I start.
Tell me, Lucas.
Major confession to make here.
Uh-oh. Here it comes.
I brought a lot of stuff. I brought my whistles, the pipes, brought the hurdy-gurdy, the zamponia, but I forgot something very important.
What?
And it should be right here for all of you to see. My wedding band.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, in lieu of neglecting to adorn my hand with the wedding band, the set that I'm going to play is for my wife, Emily, who's watching from home, who I love very dearly. And I'm going to tune up here real quick, make sure we're back on track. All right, so we're going to play some love songs here for you on the small pipes. Thank you. Alrighty, I think it is time. We're going to round out the sound a bit more now with my bandmates here from Fig for a Kiss. We're going to come on out and get set up, and we're going to play some amazing tunes for you. So if you could do me a big favor and give them a massive Sellersville Theater welcome, that would be wonderful. Alrighty. Thank you, sir.
All right, welcome to the stage. Fig for a Kiss. Let's see, from camera left to right, we have Lucas, of course. We have Addison. Hello, Addison. Welcome to the show. We have Casey. Hello, Casey. Seth. Hello, Seth. We should say that this band, Fig for a Kiss, has a great EP that was recently released. We have it up on the screen for you momentarily. It looks great. There it is, Fig for a Kiss, which is a very intriguing name. As you tune up, what is a fig for a kiss? What does that mean?
Pucker up.
Oh, is it it's a transaction?
Yeah.
I'll give you
So
a fig for
it's
if you give me a
it's the
kiss.
name of a tune, which we'll play for you.
Yeah, that's where it came from. It was a tune we liked, and we just.
Sorry, say that again, Seth. I had your mic off.
It was a tune we really liked the sound of, and we liked the name, and just kind of decided that was going to be the name of the band after a couple of other small attempts, and we're like, nah, this is the one.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's a vibe. It makes you think.
Yeah. Articulation is important when saying the name of the band too. Fig for a Kiss.
And alliteration.
Yes.
All right, so guys, what are you gonna play for us here? And Lucas, what instrument are you playing?
So
for us?
I've got a low whistle here, right? So a lot of folks see like the high penny whistles, the ones that are really, really high. This is like octaves lower. So you've got a nice lower sound coming out of that guy. So a really cool sound there. When you can't play the flute, this works really well. So we're gonna play some original tunes, which is really exciting. So giving some life and breath into the tradition here. And this is our green room set that we put together as we were recording the EP. So we've got some original tunes here by Casey, myself, and Addison. There we
Excellent.
go.
Thank
Yeah.
you, guys. Can't wait to hear.
Yeah, you got it. Give it up for these guys.
Excellent.
Beautifully done.
The green room set.
Yes.
Okay, listen. I gotta ask, how do you know how to keep the tempo steady when you transition feels like that? I've always wondered, like when you go from tune to tune within a set, like how do you do that?
Lots of practice and awkward eye contact rather. That.
Have there ever been any real like catastrophic train wrecks where you don't quite get the down?
Never.
No way. No, it's perfect every time.
You lie. Okay, well, you dropped some jargon earlier in the show that I'm hoping you can clear up. Set us straight on what the difference between a reel, a jig, a slip jig, all of that stuff is.
Gotcha. So you've got these different types of Irish tunes that are and Scottish tunes as well that are used for different types of dancing, and that is the key. So when you see folks doing Irish step dancing in a competition scene, mainly, you're going to hear different types of tunes used for different types of dances. Same thing in the Scottish scenes. You have different types of tunes that are used for different type of Highland dancing, which is a different type of competition. So all of those tunes have their purposes, and it's really neat to kind of, especially in a band setting, mix and match them, put them together, and see what you like. Yeah.
And I would add to that a little bit too. Said really beautifully, Lucas. And just to sort of add a little bit of information to that for the people at home. Jigs are typically counted. We like to use this mnemonic device. I guess it's not a mnemonic device. It's sort of similar. But for the jigs, we say rashes and sausages. Right?
Rashes and sausages.
Rashes and sausages.
And so that's an easy way to sort of count a jig. Is like because it's in 6/8.
Oh, it's a triple thing.
Mm-hmm.
Decade. 1,
Versus
2, 3,
a
1, 2,
reel,
3,
which is really just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
So if you can pick out rashes and sausages, you know you're dancing a jig.
Oh, that's good.
And then you're hungry too.
And what's a slip jig?
That's really hope I don't get this wrong.
Uh-oh, stuff the band.
I feel like I'm in school being tested. No. But I believe it's in 9/8 instead of 6/8. And that really just has to do with the phrasing of the tune.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I could do like this is a slip jig in 9/8. So you can sort of hear it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait.
1, 2, 3,
1,
4,
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh shoot, that's what it's
It's hard to count.
Okay.
But yes,
Anybody who
like the
is
butterfly
listening who knows what a slip jig is,
You
just
can hear
disregard
that
that
it's
last
different
part.
from
Yeah.
the jig,
That was
for
a
sure.
12/8 one.
it has
Yeah,
that. But it has that lilting
It
feel
does,
to it.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So cool.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, keep playing. This sounds so good. You want to go right into some more tunes?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're gonna play. We're gonna sing and play at the same time. Really.
At the same time?
Yeah, we've never tried that before. So, throughout quarantine and throughout COVID, there were a lot of songs and a lot of sea shanties that got passed around on social media by the young folks, right? So we have
Like what? Wait a second. What do you mean? I missed this
Okay,
corner of the internet.
so Dan, follow me on this one, man.
Okay.
There was this phenomenon, right, that people just started singing sea shanties. I don't know if they were alone or whatever. And then you've got the app so you can do, singing multiple harmonies at the same time and hanging out with people. Somebody in the comments section probably knows what I'm talking about.
Is that what
but
they're doing on TikTok? Is that like a sea shanty thing?
It is. I don't like saying the words TikTok, but yeah, you got it. So yeah, but that I mean that's cool because that's traditional music and that's taking a new form and bringing people together, which is great. I just want to let people know that we have video evidence of us singing sea shanties before that was the cool thing to do. So in a court of law, that would stand. We were there first.
I like how we went from medieval instruments all the way to TikTok.
Timeless. Timeless music.
Timeless, yeah.
Timeless, there you go, that's it.
Making history tonight with you, Dan.
All
I
right.
love it. All right, so this song is called Frobisher Bay, and it's a song about being a whaler in a very cold environment, and it's a song about longing and wishing you were back with the one that you love. So it's a nice song, and we have to give some sort of nautical repertoire given the sea shanty thing going on with TikTok and social media.
Cold is the Arctic Sea, far are your arms from me. Long will this winter be, frozen in Frobisher Bay, frozen in Frobisher Bay. One more whale, the captain cried. One more whale, then we'll beat the ice. The winter star was in the sky. The seas were rough and the waves were high. Cold is the Arctic Sea, far are your arms from me. Long will this winter be, frozen in Frobisher Bay, frozen in Frobisher Bay. Deep were the crashing waves that tore our whalers' mast away. And dark are these sunless days, waiting for the ice to break. And cold is the Arctic Sea, far are your arms from me. Long will this winter be, frozen in Frobisher Bay, frozen in Frobisher Bay. And deep were the crashing waves that tore our whalers' mast away. Dark are these sunless days, waiting for the ice to break. And cold is the Arctic Sea, far are your arms from me. Long will this winter be, frozen in Frobisher Bay, frozen in Frobisher Bay. And cold is the Arctic Sea, far are your arms from me. Long will this winter be, frozen in Frobisher Bay, frozen in Frobisher Bay.
Nicely done.
Cool, thank you. I don't know about you guys, I'm just glad to see the ice off my driveway now, finally. After all the crazy snowstorms we had. All right, so coming up next, fun set, Kid on the Mountain, Kess Jig, Jig of Slurs, yeah. So some nice traditional ones in there you may have heard before if you're listening to Celtic music.
Fantastic. So what were those tunes that you did in there? Say them again. What were the names?
So the first one.
It's Kid on the Mountain was the first one, and then we went into Kesh Jig, and then Jig of Slurs.
Fantastic. Are those originals or those classics?
Those are classics.
Traditionals.
Those are classics.
An original spin on them,
Ooh.
you could say.
Yes. Well said.
Well, I gotta say,
Well said.
it's fantastic to see what you were referring to earlier about like sort of the tone of the pipe sort of blending in with the ensemble, the violins, the fiddles balancing the pipe.
Yeah.
Very
it's-
cool.
Yeah, it's a privilege to be able to play with such skillful folks and to have the opportunity. So yeah, it's great when you're a bagpiper in concert pitch and you can enjoy other instrumentalists for sure. So that's something you can't do with the loud Highland pipes. They usually drive people away.
You kind of drown everybody out.
Yeah.
Right.
We've definitely had gigs where people have been nervous when we've said we have a bagpiper with us for like indoor gigs, and we have to explain that it's going to be fine. Don't worry.
He's tasteful, guys.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. Oh, what have you pulled out now, Lucas?
All right, so this is an octave mandolin, and we were chatting about mandolin before the show too. It's basically like a giant mandolin, tiny ones. I mean, small frets, guys. Those are tough to play. Are you still playing mandolin?
I try
Yeah.
sometimes.
It's tough.
Well, it's tuned the same as a violin,
think
right?
it's
a
So
challenge.
it would.
Yeah. So this so we've got G D A D. So similar to a violin, right? Something like
You
that.
said GDAD?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just have an E instead of a D at the end.
Oh, gotcha.
Lucas, would you please pull that mic closer to you?
This
please?
guy here.
Yeah, that's the one. Thank you. That's how the
Okay.
sausage is made, folks.
Cool.
There we go. That's how the haggis is.
Cool. So
Something.
we're gonna play an original tune here called Thompson's Folly, and it's a kind of a ballad tune that I wrote. And we've got this one, and then after this one, we have one last set. So buckle up, get the comments in. Just wanted to, before we get to that very last one, just thank everybody, and especially Sellersville Theater for having us. And again, thanking you guys for putting all of this together for so many artists and bands that really need to have this going on to keep the music alive and keep their spirits up.
Well, you're welcome, Lucas, and thank you for coming and doing this, and thank you to Fig for a Kiss, and thank you to the people in the crowd.
You got it.
We certainly love it.
On the physical crowd and the digital crowd, just thank yous all around. Thompson awoke to the sound of horses in the morning mist at break of day, and he clutched in each hand a bag of silver he'd stolen that night and would not repay. He fled into the hills, the horse could not give chase, his new wealth kept safely at his side. It was enough to buy a kingdom, could not buy escape, so he made haste beneath the starry night. And at the top of the next hill, Thompson tripped and stumbled. He rolled into the road, the coins fell from his hands. He heard the horsemen riding as he turned to retrieve them. His search was cut short by his captor's hands. They said, "You thief, you'll hang, you'll never run these hills. Your last day is upon you, so repent." And Thompson hung his head and cried, they were right, not a single stolen coin he got to spend. They took Thompson away far from the forest, and soon there passed that way a kindly poor man. His heart it rejoiced when he found the silver. For the first time in his life, he held wealth in his hands. He
picked up all the coins and he went along his way, giving some to those he found in need. For the kindness in his heart, many toasts were made, celebrating all of his good deeds. Further down the road, this man saw the horsemen. Thompson's hands were bound as he stumbled by their side. They spoke of a great bounty they'd receive in the next county when Thompson met the bailiff to pay for his crimes. But the man caught eyes with Thompson and his heart was full of mercy. He called out to the horsemen and he asked if they were thirsty. He said he knew the bailiff with silver, he paid Thompson some. So he sent them with full pockets down to the local pub. And Thompson was free, but the man, he vanished from the forest. His voice cried thus: your freedom must be spent in service to others. For if you steal again, your soul will be lost. If you steal again, your soul will be lost.
Cautionary tale.
A cautionary tale. Instruments are expensive, right? Like you said before.
Absolutely. Oh, that was great. That was a Fig for a Kiss original.
Yeah, that's a Lucas original right there.
Lucas original.
Yeah,
This guy
lots
is
of fun.
quite the songsmith.
Multi-instrumentalist and songwriter.
What can I say? You guys are truly inspirational.
I love that. Well, listen, before we get to our last block, I want to give you guys a moment. We call this the teacher feature. I want to ask you about a teacher or mentor who has been influential to you and helped you along your path. And if you could share with us maybe something they taught you, something you remember from them. Put you on the spot.
Well, Addie and I would love to share a little bit about our shared fiddle teacher, because how could we not? Miss Alyson Gillespie is a sort of local to where we grew up, around Bethlehem area in Pennsylvania. And Addie and I have been playing together since we were, 9.
Middle school.
Is that right?
9 maybe.
Well-
It's been a long
that
time.
that explains why you blend so well and compliment each other.
Well, we'd like to credit that to our teacher, Alyson Gillespie.
Yeah. Yeah, she really got us out playing early, which we really appreciate. We had a lot of sessions in the Lehigh Valley, which is really awesome,
All right.
which is where, you go to these different bars, which, we were going to bars at like 10, so
Yeah.
we were like pretty cool. But yeah, we got to play with musicians from all over and just play our tunes that
In
helped
the
us.
Celtic genre.
Yes.
Like, this is sort of unheard of, I feel like, for people our age at that time. It just sort of was like really, really lucky for us to have access to take lessons with her where we lived. And then for there to also be so many other talented musicians surrounding us, partially because of the community that she created and was a part of. And so, we just feel really lucky to have been able to grow up around that, making it feel like we have, like we got the opportunity to grow up playing in sessions in Ireland like we would have dreamed. But
Yeah.
we got the next best thing.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And is she still teaching?
Yes, she is.
Oh, fantastic. It does seem like this is a pretty good area for Celtic music, right? With the
Yes.
Celtic
Yeah.
Classic up
Strangely
in
enough.
Bethlehem. And
Yep.
I know we present a lot of great Celtic acts
Yeah.
most years. Not this year, obviously, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very lucky to
Great.
live in this place.
excellent. Who else we got up there?
Well, I am primarily self-taught on guitar, but I have to thank my dad, who sat me down for about 4 hours once or twice just to kind of help me teach. I've been playing for about 18 years now, and really, and this sounds kind of sappy to say, but what I owe these three for everything I've learned about being a Celtic, in particular a Celtic accompanist. I have learned through playing with these three here.
How is that different than being a other accompanist, like
It's
not Celtic?
one of the things that I'm having to do is, or trying to do as best I can, is outline their melody with a melody of my own through the chord choice. I'm trying to make everything they play sound maybe just a little bit different every repetition we play through, as well as trying to be the, especially when we don't have a drum, trying to be the rhythm and the bass line and everything.
Doing a damn good
I
job.
was gonna say
yeah.
you really need to be like on top of that groove, right? You got to know where the jig starts
And where it ends.
Yes.
and where it ends. Exactly.
Yeah, I say my whole job is to make them sound better. So
So when you transition from one tune to another tune within a set, like who gives the head nod? Is it you as the
it's
drummer?
If you see us kicking our feet over here, it's
It's a-
usually Addie
yeah,
or
it's-
myself.
Oh, I see. So
Yeah.
you're watching them. You're looking
yeah,
for the cue.
I'm watching feet a lot. You'll see me just kind of.
Yeah, because the magic of his role is that when we mess up, he follows us and makes
Yes.
it look like we didn't mess
Yeah.
up. And he's really, really good at that.
Yes.
On the flip side, they also occasionally throw me dirty looks as if I'm the one who messed it.
Yeah, that's just
Only
fun.
occasionally.
The wind beneath their wings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lucas.
Yeah, so teachers, I'd have to throw out two very quickly. When I started piping, there's a gentleman who came from Scotland within the same year that I started piping, and his name is Kenny Sutherland, and he gave me a lot of amazing basics to start with to get going. I also had instruction from a gentleman named Jacob Muldowney, who was kind of just a couple of years older than me, took me under his wing. And that was really cool to have him, followed by my piping instructor in college, Dan Emery. I was so fortunate that the music department was like, yeah, you could do this as your music major. So they arranged for Dan to come, and he taught me a lot. And that guy is just a musical genius. He's got this beard, and he just pulls whistles and flutes and pipes. It's wild. So he's a great guy.
I have to object to you stereotyping bearded people as being good at music.
Oh.
I don't know if that's fair.
Gotcha. Seth, your beard's looking pretty good, dude.
It's my
But wait,
COVID beard.
did you say you made up a college major?
Yeah,
That's
so
right,
so
that's
I was a
right.
music major, and my instrument was bagpipes. So the worked it out with the department. That was the case, and very happy with that. Yeah. Very
And
happy
they,
with
they
that.
hadn't had that program before.
They had
so-
not. So yeah, so Dan was my partner in crime, professor in crime, who would like translate everything to like the other professors. So he did a really amazing job at doing that. So that's Dan. But I have to tell you real quick, one of the teaching moments that blew my mind just as a musician. I was at a piping conference, and this piper by the name of E.J. Jones steps up to teach this class. And what are we going to learn? Is it repertoire? Is it this? Is it that? And he starts out by saying, you should try to be a good enough musician to the point where if you're out on the street, you need to be able to make enough money to get you home. And was literally telling all of us, go out without your wallet, no form of transportation, and just play until that happens. And that was deep. And that struck me pretty hard. So
Oh, I love that.
yeah, right? That translates to everything, man. So
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah.
Good words.
Cool.
Words of wisdom.
Yeah. So we have one more set, right? And it's our Fig for a Kiss set. So it's our namesake tune.
Thank
up
you.
front.
Well, when people want to hear you again, where can they hear you next?
So we don't have a lot
We
coming
do
up.
have. We are actually going to be in Celtic Classic in September, so
There you
that's
go.
what we've got on the calendar
A little ways
currently.
away. Yeah.
And that's going to be an in-person Celtic Classic, they think?
So far,
We think.
so we hope so, and yeah, we're slowly starting to get some gigs on there on our calendar. So definitely check out figforakissband.com to see what we've got coming up.
All right. Listen, guys, it's been great having you here. Thank you.
Thanks for having us, man.
How are you taking us out of here? What?
So yeah, we're playing our Fig for a Kiss set, which is like our namesake tune, and a couple of other traditional favorites, kind of like we did with the last set, with that original flavor thrown into it. Yeah, especially in the last one. I think that's one of those
Yeah.
cool. You'll hear it. It's this musical moment. It's a different take on the first part of that tune. So yeah, Yeah, again, thank you everybody so much. Thank you for supporting live music and coming out and supporting Sellersville Theater. We really appreciate it. And keep enjoying this show, Dan. I love the format. I love the way this is laid out. I think you're knocking it out of the park.
Very nice.
Let's light it up for Dan, everybody. And our other guys,
Tim, we got Tim on the camera and Jeremy up here.
Tim and Jeremy.
switching.
Yep, light it up for those guys too. Thank you guys. I'm just gonna make sure we're in tune first, and then.
While you're tuning, Denise Kulski asks, Lucas, have you ever met Chip Reardon?
I have. Chip was an amazing piper, and he's still around. Not only is he an amazing piper, he is a extremely talented organ player as well. So he's visually impaired, so his sense of hearing is through the roof, which makes him an incredible musician and teacher as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Fig for a Kiss. Well done. Thank you to Fig for a Kiss. Thank you to Lucas. Lucas, this was great, man. Thanks
Dan,
for being here.
We should do this again sometime, man.
Hey, let's do it again sometime. How about that?
Cool.
Maybe we'll see you at Celtic Classic.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. This is a treat. And yeah, definitely check out Celtic Classic. Check out all the live music, especially the Celtic music going on. Sessions. It's right there. You have to do a little bit of digging, but go out and find it and enjoy it.
Great. Well, folks, that is our show. This has been an absolute blast. I love this so much. The band is Fig for a Kiss. Their EP looks a little something like this. Go out and find it on the interwebs. Thank you to Lucas for the education, for the experience, for all the variety.
Anytime,
right?
man.
The history. That was wonderful. Guys, we'll be back next week here on Soundbooth Sessions. We do this every week at 8 p.m. on Facebook. Thank you for being here. Next week we have Bill Monahan and Celtic Pride. If you just need a little bit more Celtic music to get you in the mood, we'll do it then as well. So we'll see you then. We hope you catch some of our upcoming Sellersville Theater shows and streams. I mentioned at the beginning of the show. I should also say Dan May was in the crowd, as was Claudia Terry, and they will be here on May 7th. That's right, we'll have Dan May on our stage. So, folks, that's it for now. We'll see you next week. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Jeremy on the switcher. Good work, Jeremy. Thank you to
Jeremy.
Tim
All right.
on the camera. Thank you, Tim. Thank you to our in-person audience. It was so nice to have you all here. And as soon as I get my thing up and running, we are out of here. And very professional ending. Go. We're done. Thanks. Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And thank you to Alyson. I forgot Alyson. Oh my goodness. Thank you to Alyson in the comments.